Hey everyone. So I'm going to do a get ready with me video today, and I am getting ready to go pick my sister up from the airport. I'm really excited because it's actually the first time I'm ever meeting my sister. If you haven't watched my Draw My Life video, I talk a little more in there about how my brother Adam has transitioned and is now my sister Addison. And this is the first time she has been home in the past 2 years. So we have not actually met Addison face to face yet. So I'm very excited to see her. I'm not going to film at the airport because that's a private moment, but I'm just filming how I feel about it to get started, and then she's going to do a couple videos with me while she's here. So we're going to do a sister tag, and I'm going to interview her about what it's like, what her transition was like, and how things are different now that she is living her life as a woman. So I always use my Smashbox green, and I'm about out of it, so I just cut it so I can get the rest out of there. And there's a ton left in there, and I typically would have just thrown that away. So I'm glad I cut that sucker open, and I'm gonna get some of this out of there because I am awfully red today. I know it's technically spring, but it is summer heat here in Florida, so the sun is already pretty strong, and it's getting the better of me pretty quickly. Excuse me, background noise. My kids are cleaning, and the dishwasher is going. Because, you know, when you have people coming in town, you do that last minute quick clean thing, so they think that you're neat and tidy when really you're a big ol' mess. Okay, so my expectations for this week that she is here. I am so excited to see her transition. I'm fully supportive. I have no problems with her living her life however she wants, as long as she is happy. That is totally fine with me. And what happens in other people's bedrooms does not in any way affect my life, so it's none of my business. And that's how I feel on the topic. If you feel differently, it's fine. That's your opinion, and I'm not saying you're wrong to have an opinion. That's one of the benefits of living here, is that we are allowed to accept multiple points of view and be fine with it and not blow each other up because we feel differently. So I'm totally fine with the fact that she is now a she. My parents, on the other hand, are having a little different time with it. Not that they don't love her. Of course they do. Of course that's their child. They will always love her. But it is different. We're mourning the loss of Adam and gaining Addison, which is wonderful, but it's also a loss. We had Adam for 29 years. And that was my parents' only son. So it's kind of difficult for them, and I understand that. And I'm really hoping, my hope above all hopes this week is that everyone is patient and everyone is understanding. The thing with Addison that I have noticed is that she lives in San Francisco. So really, sorry, I'm using my two foundations, my Rimmel Lasting Finish in 101 and 201, because they just don't have one that matches me. Okay, so she lives in San Francisco, and her lifestyle, of course, is not uncommon out there. It's very common, and to transition, that was the best possible place for her to do it, because she was in an atmosphere that was so loving and accepting of that, whereas other places she might not have been so accepted. So I'm grateful that she has had a positive experience in transitioning because she was living in San Francisco. I hope, what I have noticed from her, and I think you notice this from a lot of people going through any kind of change in their life, whether they have decided to stop drinking alcohol, or whether they have decided to stop eating meat, or whatever their personal changes, they get angry if you don't accept their change right away. And I'm sensing a little bit of that from her, that there is a lack of patience with other people and other people's point of view. She wants to be accepted right this second. And I understand that, and I would want to be accepted right that second too. I hear it, I do, and I sympathize with it. But I also think, you know, when it comes to total strangers, it's fine to expect that and to demand that. But when it comes to your family, I think a little bit of patience is needed and is warranted. I think you owe the people in your life a little bit of patience to get used to the change that you've made in your life. And if it's a change that is making you happy, I think the majority of people would be happy for you and would get on board with that. But it doesn't mean that there isn't a process that people have to go through. There is a grieving process, and there is an acceptance. And, you know, it's all of those stages of grief that you have to go through. And, you know, I went through it quickly because, you know, those stages, because I just want her to be happy, and I grew up in a very different society than my parents did. My dad's a very traditional guy, and he's having a little bit of trouble with it, and that's fine. It's fine that he's having trouble with it, and it's fine that we don't want, it's not that he has to get completely on board right this second, but if you can accept the differences in each other, that's great. And patience needs to come from the other side while my dad gets there as well. So I'm hoping that we're patient with each other. That's my biggest hope. I really don't think it's going to be a negative visit at all. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. She has here lately done a lot of changes, is going for fashion colors in her hair, which I'm so jealous of, and I would totally do if I wasn't terrified of bleaching my hair. I did that for a while and just damaged it. So while I would love to do some amazing like Guy Tang inspired hair, I'm too scared to bleach my hair out to do that. But she is doing it, and she is loving it. It looks great on her, and she's doing some modeling out there, so it's a lot of fun. And the changes she's made, I think she looks wonderful. I guess she got stopped at TSA because they noticed something in her pants they were unsure should be there. So I thought that was a riot. So, you know, she's happy, and that's all I care about. I'm just hoping that she will be patient with everyone else here. I don't want her to come out here with a chip on her shoulder. And I know that you want to be accepted, but you can't demand acceptance. You have to give people a chance. And, you know, she made the point that everyone out there has already accepted her as Addison. And that's great and all, but they only knew Adam for about 6 months before she became Addison. So, and they see her every day. We don't see her every day, and we knew Adam for 29 years before Adam became Addison. So, let's see, I'm going to use my NYX Mineral Set It, Don't Fret It to set my foundation in place. So I'm just hoping, and I know she's very worried about her name, that people don't call her Adam, and the pronoun thing. Well, here's what I feel about that. I feel that once she's in front of us, all looking like a girl, it'll be much easier to remember the pronouns than it is when you're talking about her. Because sometimes when we talk amongst family or friends or things like that, not everybody knows everything that's going on. You know, we assume that because we post things on Facebook that everybody knows everything. Well, not everybody has Facebook, or not everyone is active on their Facebook. So sometimes it's easier to say he, so they or Adam, so they understand who we're talking about. We have a cousin named Addison, who is a little girl. So if you just say Addison, it could get confusing, you know? So until everyone's good and used to it, every now and again we will say he, or we will say Adam. But I don't do it to Adam. I do it for other people's understanding because they don't quite understand the situation yet. But I think once she's here, it'll be much easier to remember to say she, because she's pretty banging. She's hot. So I don't think anyone is going to associate with her with he. You know, I don't think anyone's going to say he or him in front of her. At least that's just how I feel. I think once something is in front of you, it's much easier to accept that situation. So, you know, I know that she has some fears for the week, And I am hoping that her worst fears are just that, just fears, and everything will go very smoothly. And I'm very excited to see her. And we are leaving here in half an hour to go pick her up. The girls have made signs so we can pick her up at the airport and surprise her with big signs. Welcome home, Aunt Addison. So I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. She's going to spend some time here and some time with my parents. And I'm kind of going to be a safe haven. You know, between her and my dad, you know, both of them I think are going, I'm using a CoverGirl palette. I'm using the lightest color for my, from the crease to the brow, and then I'm going to use an e.l.f. palette for the rest of it because I want some darker eye. And I'm definitely using waterproof mascara today because I'm suspecting there will be tears. So, of joy, of course, but tears. I'm a sap, I cry at everything. Okay, so like I was saying, I think my house is going to be a safe haven in between everything, in case either Dad or Addison are feeling overwhelmed. That way there's a safe place to go and nobody gets their feelings hurt too badly, and that it's okay to take a break, and we're gonna go over and have dinner, and if things are going well, Addison will stay there, and if things are a little tense, Addison will come here with us, and that's perfectly fine. She's going to stay in the girls' room, and the girls are going to set up camp in the playroom. We'll move Natalie's mattress in there, and then we'll blow up an air mattress for Katie, and then Addison will sleep on Katie's mattress because I don't know, that's just the easiest way to do it. It's the bed that gives you closer access to the door, kind of a thing. So we did that when Ariel was here. My friend's daughter visited us for a week a couple weeks ago, and that's what we did when she was here. So I think we will continue to do that. What brush do I want to use? Nice fluffy brush. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to go out to a couple of clubs. We're going to have a party. Because literally she hasn't seen anyone in the past 2 years. So there's old friends from high school that she hasn't seen. There's family that she hasn't seen. And I think the last family event that happened when she was here was unfortunately my grandmother's funeral. She was gone and working for a month. And my grandmother passed away. So she came home for the funeral. We packed all of her stuff up and they took a U-Haul across the country. She and her wife at the time. They are now separated, I think for obvious reasons. But so yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to see a lot of people this week and we're going to do some fun stuff. She's going to go with me to one of Katie's practices this week because she has not yet seen her do gymnastics in person. So we're going to go to one of Katie's practices so she can see her in work. Addison is actually in training right now doing aerial acrobatics, which is awesome and I think so fun, and it's something I would eventually like to get Katie into because I think Katie, as much as she loves gymnastics, is not, oh, my brush just broke, is not Olympic bound. That is not her future, but I think she would be excellent in Cirque. I worked for Lanuba for 2 years and loved it, and I see Katie's joy in the fun of it and in the performance of it, and I think she would be excellent in a Cirque show. So I think the aerial and the silks and all of that fun stuff that Addison's doing right now is something that Katie would really love. I'm using a Revlon Wine Knot blush. It's super pink, but it doesn't come out too bad. It's funny because I take all the red out of my face and then I go ahead and just add a bunch of pink back in. Oh, my hair is so wet. Sorry, it just fell out of the bun. But yeah, so that's what's happening today. We're going to go pick Addison up. We're going to go have dinner at my parents' and we will see what else happens. Like I said, we're going to do a couple videos this week, so stay tuned for those and they should be a lot of fun. Okay, now I'm airport ready.